Please excuse the blanket. For whatever reason, my body is freezing today, but we're gonna push through. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Liz and today we are going to be starting a week-long reading vlog where I'm going to be reading all thrillers for this week. I don't know how many books I'm going to get through. I'm hoping I can get through at least 2, maybe 3, and just take you guys along with me and show you what I'm reading. But I've been in the mood for mystery thrillers for a while now and I feel like now is the time to dive in. It's about to be the start of October and October to me is just prime fall time. What better thing to read than mystery thrillers in the fall? That's what we're going to be doing. I'm really excited to get into some thrillers. I haven't read a really good thriller in a while. Lately, I've been feeling very indifferent towards the books I've been reading, at least this past month. I really just need to switch it up. I haven't been reading any mystery thrillers, so I just need to switch it up and try something new, and hopefully that'll get me back into my reading game and my love for reading. I'm hoping to reignite that. So the first book that we are going to be reading in today's video is You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose. I actually just started this morning and I am 50 pages in. This book follows our main character Grace, and she is a city girl. She's from New York, but every year she books a trip at an Airbnb somewhere in the country, and this year she decides to book an Airbnb in Wyoming. It starts right off. She's on the way to her Airbnb. The way this book is set up, it takes you by each day. You're just learning about this girl and it seems very suspenseful for some reason. There's a guy named Calvin who lives on the grounds. He runs the grounds and this is his Airbnb that he owns, and he also lives in the house with her, so it's not like she has the Airbnb all to herself. She does have this other guy there with her. It seems like they can't decide if they're attracted to each other or cautious with each other. There's been lots of mixed signals so far. There's just been some things that are just very mysterious, and I'm really curious to see what is going to happen. The little blurb at the top is actually by Colleen Hoover, and she says Geneva Rose is the queen of twists. So I'm really excited to see what the twist is going to be in this book. You also get Calvin's perspective, so you go back and forth between Grace and Calvin, and I really like that because I like seeing Calvin's perspective, and it seems like both of them might be hiding something from the other, and we just don't know what. I'm very excited to continue with this book. I'll try to give updates when I can. In past reading vlogs, I either film a lot or I hardly film anything. We're gonna see what mood I'm in this week. I'm hoping since this will involve a lot of like plot twists, I can hopefully get some reactions to that, or at least just talk about them and if I would recommend these books, because once again, I haven't read a mystery thriller book in a while, so I'm really excited for this week to get started. I will try to give updates when I have them. Okay, I already have an update. I've only read 10 pages since I last talked to you guys. I'm sorry. If you're a woman who is staying in an unfamiliar place that already gives you bad vibes and you wake up in the middle of the night thinking you heard a woman scream, what do? Do you A, get in your car and leave as fast as possible? B, call 911? Or C, go back to sleep? This is like in every horror movie where it's like, don't go in the basement. And what do you know? They go in the basement. How dumb. It's like you have no survival skills. If this is me in that scenario, I'm gonna take option A, getting in my car, driving away as fast as possible, while also doing option B and calling the cops while I'm driving away. In no world am I falling back asleep and ignoring the sound that just woke me up. I really hope that the rest of the book doesn't go like this, because if it does, and this main character is gonna be that stupid, I'm not gonna have a good time. So I'm about halfway through You Shouldn't Have Come Here, and I have some thoughts. I know I kind of gave a few thoughts earlier, and I mentioned how it seemed like the two main characters, they couldn't tell whether or not they were attracted to each other or if they were suspicious of the other, and that is still true even halfway through this book. I feel like if I was this girl and I am feeling uneasy around this guy, or weird things start happening and like I'm questioning things a lot, then I would just end my trip early. I don't know if she has like a motive. I have lots of theories on what could happen potentially, but I don't want to share all of them in case it spoils things. One thing I will say though, I'm really enjoying the writing in this book. I feel like the author does a really good job keeping the chapters very short and sweet to the point. It also leaves you uneasy. Like the end of each chapter, it'll end with a sentence that just like kind of makes you question things. You don't know who to trust. I'm very curious to see if the twist, if it'll catch me off guard or not. I have a few thoughts in my head on how this could go, but this is very easy to read. Like I'm flying through this book. I'm very much enjoying the pacing of everything. I will say though, I still feel like the main character is very stupid. Like some of her choices and her thought process to me doesn't make sense. For me personally, if I get a bad feeling, I'm out of there. So I ended up binging You Shouldn't Be Here late last night. I just want to say that really speaks to the pacing of this book. It was very fast paced. The chapters were very short and sweet, with also like sprinkling in like little cliffhangers, kind of like how Frida McFadden does her mysteries. I will say, after finishing this book, it was both what I expected and not what I expected. Take that whatever way you want to take it. I don't know what my rating's gonna be just yet, so I think I'm gonna wait until the end, just like I normally do. So I want to sit on my ratings for a few of these books. Sometimes I have like a gut feeling of what the book is gonna be rated, but I don't really have one for this book just yet. So I'm gonna wait and tell you later and be annoying and tell you later in this video. And now I'm starting Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister, or Gillian McAllister, however you say her first name. I am very excited to read this book because it's been on my TBR for over a year now, and so it's really time to read this book. I'm very excited because it has a very cool kind of premise behind it. Last night I read one chapter and already it's like already in the action, so I'm really excited to continue. You're following this mom who has an 18-year-old son who is coming back home late for curfew one night, and she's looking out the window, she sees him in the street, and then all of a sudden there's this guy walking towards her son, and her son then stabs this man. The whole time her son just keeps saying, I had to. That's kind of where it leaves you. I do though know that with this book, every time she falls asleep, she wakes up the day prior. She'll go to sleep, she'll wake up, and then it's yesterday. She'll go to sleep again, and then she'll wake up, it's the day before that. And it's just gonna keep cycling like that, so she can figure out why her son did what he did and kind of try to find the root of the problem. The whole idea of time travel in this, it just sounds very fascinating. That's where we're at. I'm gonna try to read some of this today. Don't know how far I'll get because I do have some editing I need to do, so I don't think I'll be able to finish a lot of this today, but I do want to try to read a good chunk of this. It's later in the day. I am about 40% into Wrong Place, Wrong Time. I'm really enjoying it. Each day that you do something, it doesn't seem like these things are having an impact. It's more so like you're going back, and each day you're getting a little more information, and then a little more information, and then a little more information, and it's slowly adding up, and you're trying to just like solve the case essentially. I'm really enjoying it. It's very interesting. I'm very curious about what's gonna happen. Our main character is the mom, but then you're also getting random chapters of this cop, and he's like new being a cop. But the weird thing is, whenever you get his chapters, you have no clue when his chapters are taking place. I don't know if his chapters are like present day. I don't know if they're like years in the past. You have no clue what he's doing when that's all taking place, but you're getting what day that Jen is in, like in the past. You're getting that information the whole time. I know that his chapters are going to start intertwining with Jen's chapters, and I'm really, really excited to see that start to happen. Like, I'm already starting to see like little bits and pieces and like hints of what could happen. I don't want to say anything because I'm afraid of giving anything away, but I will say, like, each day that she wakes up, she learns a little bit more information on what happened with her son and why things potentially went the way that they did. That's all I'm gonna say, just because I feel like with this premise, you don't want to say too much because it can give a lot of stuff away. The chapters are pretty quick. I'm very excited to see where this is gonna go. I have no clue. I feel like there's so many different plot lines and clues kind of going everywhere. Like, I almost need to like map this out, everything that's happened, onto like a board so I can visually see it, because it's very hard to keep track of in your brain. I'm glad I did this challenge because so far the first 2 books I'm reading in this week, I'm really enjoying, and it's really starting October off on a good note compared to September. Okay, it's the next day. I filmed like 2 clips yesterday, and that was because I early in the morning went to a coffee shop and I started reading my 3rd book for this video. I haven't given any introduction to this book at all, so I'm gonna go ahead and just do that now while I'm thinking about it. The 3rd book I am reading is That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. I'm really, really excited for this book because I saw that people said that if you're fans of Natalie D. Richards or Vincent Ralph, which are 2 young adult mystery thriller authors that I absolutely love, then you will love this book. book. It's written in a very similar writing style where it's very fast paced and it's, once again, it's young adult. And I have to say, this is definitely what I would recommend to people who love those two authors. I could not picture two other authors that are as close to this author as them. Our story follows our main character who wakes up with no memory on the side of the road. She's very like bruised and like beaten up. She has blood all over her face, and a cop finds her, takes her to the station, and this cop is then trying to figure out who she is, trying to find like a missing person. And then all of a sudden this man shows up at the station and he's saying, "Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter?" He's saying that she is his daughter, and he has proof, like photos of her when she was younger and things like that. It kind of leaves you there. I haven't gotten any further than that. I'm only like 2 chapters into this book. I haven't learned much more than that. However, there is also other chapters where you get this boy named Drew, his perspective, and in his chapters, he is the #1 suspect for his girlfriend's disappearance. So his girlfriend went missing 5 weeks ago, and she has very similar features to our main character in our other chapters. I mean, there's an obvious answer here, but I'm really hoping that that's not the actual answer. I kind of have a theory on what could happen, but I don't want to say it on here in case I'm right, and then it spoils this book for anybody else who wants to read it. So I'm not going to say what my theory is. I know that's really, really annoying. I'm going to keep it up here, and if I'm right, I'll just have my own self-validation. I'm very, very excited. It's very fast-paced so far. Obviously, I'm only 35 pages in, but the 2 chapters I have read have been very fast-paced, very action-packed, and it just makes me wonder like what I would do in this scenario if I was this girl who woke up with no memory. I'll give updates when I have them. I have to give an update. I have not updated this vlog in days, but I finally have something to talk about. What is that? Why do I look like I'm injured? We're gonna just ignore that. It took me a few days to get into this book, mainly because I have been having really weird dreams. So after reading thrillers like each day, I would go to bed at night, and I'm not the type of person to remember my dreams, but I was remembering my dreams and they were like high anxiety dreams. So I really needed to take a break from the thrillers, and I took a break and was rereading Assistant to the Villain, which is like a Disney movie in a book. But I'm back. Today I have been flying through it. I only have this much left. I'm really, really enjoying the story. It's finally picking up. Actually, it picked up the entire story. The whole story has been insane from start to finish and so fast paced. I'm at the point where it's like the climax, and I'm so excited. This is like my before I read the climax, and then I'll give an after later after I finish this book. I'll try to update the video again so you can see my reaction. That was a very chaotic update, but I was right. I feel accomplished right now, like I just did something amazing. Okay, I need to go to bed. It is time to wrap up this video and also give all of my final thoughts on the thrillers of this week. So we started this video off by reading You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose. This is the same author of The Perfect Marriage, which I know got really good reviews. A lot of people were reading it. It kind of blew up for a little bit last year or the year before. I never read that one. After reading this book, I can see why people really like this author and her writing style. I definitely want to read The Perfect Marriage and anything else by this author in the future. I already kind of gave the rundown of this book and all the books that I read in this week, so I'm not going to re-summarize them, but I am going to give my final thoughts and opinions. This one I ended up rating 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed it while I was reading. It was very fast-paced. Each chapter was very quick, and it kind of gave me Rita McFadden vibes a little bit because it seemed like each chapter would kind of end in like little cliffhangers, or it would be like a one-liner that just left you thinking or rethinking what you thought was actually true. I also really enjoyed that this was dual point of view, so this left me not knowing who to trust and trying to figure out what was going to happen. I definitely guessed what the ending was going to be. It was both what I thought it was going to be and also not what I thought it was going to be. It did give me a little bit of a twist that I wasn't expecting, that I am very appreciative of. 3.5 I know is nothing crazy, but I still highly recommend this for anybody who is wanting kind of like a creepy, suspenseful mystery thriller. Next, I read Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. This I've had for a really long time, at least a year now, and I've been waiting to read this book, and I'm so excited that I finally read it. I ended up giving this 4 stars. I really enjoyed just the pacing of the story, and also the fact that I didn't necessarily know how this book was going to end or wrap up, and I was very satisfied with how everything came to be and how things kind of pieced together by the very end. This was something that I've never read before. The fact that time travel was kind of happening in reverse, I really enjoyed that about this book. Also really loved our main character and the emotions that you kind of get throughout the story. I'm not used to reading from a mother's perspective, but when I do, getting to see her love for her child and how that's just all encompassing and that you will love them no matter what. It was just a very, very fun read and a great story. I highly recommend this to anybody. And the final book that I read in this video was That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. I finished this late last night and I was so excited to talk about it. I ended up rating this book 3.75 stars. I completely guessed the ending of this book. It was still done really, really well. I think most people probably would not have predicted the way I predicted it, or maybe there are other people out there. I'm acting like I'm so smart. There's other people who definitely would guess the ending for this book. The just writing style was done very, very well. It took me a little longer to read this one just because I updated the vlog earlier in this video. I was having some very strange dreams, so I had to take a little break and I spent a day or two reading Assistant to the Villain, rereading that. I got back into this one and it sucked me in. You could easily read this within a day. It took me about 2 days to finish this book, but I could have done it in a day because that's how fast-paced this story was. The whole idea of someone losing their memory and trying to piece things back together and the suspense of it all and the suspicion behind it, trying to figure out what everyone's motives are, it's just really fun to me. I love a story where the main character loses their memory for whatever reason. I just think it's very entertaining and also very intriguing to me. I highly recommend this to anybody who is wanting a young adult thriller. And that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for coming along with me for a week reading some thrillers. I'm so happy that I was able to do this video because I've had some of these thrillers on my list or on my shelf for quite a while and I haven't been in a thriller mood in a long time. So I'm really excited to kind of kick off the fall October month reading some thrillers. And I have a few more that I still want to read and I'm really excited to get into those as well. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you in my next video. Happy reading. Bye.